everybody outside this state is bitching about this state.
So Governor Gavin Newsom is hiding from me. Folks, I have offered the governor $1 million. I am the top #1 leading candidate to replace the governor, and I have offered him $1 million for a live broadcast, 2-hour sit down or debate, whatever he wants, just a 2-hour talk, so we can figure out, why is he failing? Why has California gone off the rails? How can we, make California normal again? I don't even care about the left or rightness. I just, fix California. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be the homeless capital of the country. It shouldn't be ranked 40th in schools. It's the 5th largest economy in the world, and it's falling apart. It's bursting at the seams. Businesses and people are fleeing the state. The only reason the population's not plummeting more than it has been is because we have more people being born here and more people coming here for colleges. Now, our high schools and our middle schools and elementary schools, those are in the bottom 20%, but I'll give it to California. The colleges, not that bad. They're pretty desired. But our elementary school and our K through 12 system is a disaster. And folks, I offered the governor $1 million for a discussion. Why can't we fix our water problem? Why can't we pull a Portugal and stop these disastrous wildfires? They did controlled burns. What did our governor do? He misled the population and overstated his wildfire prevention efforts by 690%. It took NPR to expose him, to let the world know about that. I don't understand. But you know what I really don't understand? Is not just the fact that the governor has completely ignored our $1 million offer. I offered $1 million for 2 hours. He said no. Maybe he's got too much money, got too many special interests, I don't know. But you know what blows my mind even more? Is the fact that the party is trying to almost gamble with the lives of Californians by offering self-destruction as an option. I kid you not. The California Democratic Party has never been as left as it is now. Now, I personally believe it's gone a little more left, maybe a lot more left than what California actually is. I personally think most Californians are 51, 49, pretty moderate. That's what I believe of most people in the state. Really, I honestly believe that of most people in the country. I think most of us in the country, we're pretty much in the middle. I guess maybe that's just the nature of bell curves, right? Is that most of us are naturally going to be in the middle, somewhere between that 60 to 40 range. But the state of California, when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor, was 60 to 64% left in the legislature. That means the Senate and the Assembly had 60 to 64% power, leaning to the left side. Now, the state of California's Assembly and Senate have 72 to 75% power on the left, which means they can override any Republican recall. They have complete power. They could literally have any governor they want, and they could just run the state for the next year. They could override any veto. They could do whatever they want. They've got that much power in the legislature. So obviously any governor has to be able to work with the legislature. But what's really shocking to me is that the Democratic Party in California has gone so extreme to the left that the Democratic Party is saying, hey, we've got this recall election coming up. The recall gives folks a ballot. Everyone gets a mailed-in ballot, by the way. Some people can actually print these ballots from home. That, by the way, is real news, not fake news. You can go to the California Secretary of State. You can print your own ballot now and drop it off. And there's some requirements for that. You have to opt in and that and so on. But that'll be interesting. But anyway, you get a ballot. It asks you 2 questions. And I'm a little under the weather. Sorry, I sound a little off. Been working too hard. But anyway, the 2 questions are very simple. Number 1, should the governor of California be recalled? Yes or no? Should he be kicked out of office? Yes or no? Then you have a second question. If he gets recalled, who should replace him? Who should replace him? And a common sense person would look at this ballot and say, okay, well, if the governor, let's say you like the governor, you're like, well, I don't want the governor to be recalled. A common sense person, in my opinion, would pick a backup option, right? It's like, oh crap, well, I don't really want him to go, but if he did, then maybe we should pick up a backup, right? That would be a logical thing that people would say. But unfortunately, the Democratic Party is not being reasonable. They tweet these kinds of posts, and it literally says, vote no on the first question, leave the second question blank. Now, that got me thinking, why? That is utterly stupid. It's so stupid that it almost seems like sabotage. Because here's the thing. If Californians vote yes on the recall, and the governor's gone, and the California Democratic Party didn't pick up a backup option, well, then they literally shot themselves in the foot. Why wouldn't you just say, vote no on the recall, but then, hey, worst case scenario, vote on this backup person, right? California Democratic Party doesn't want to do that. So I feel like, and this is me maybe being a little bit jaded, so, you know, put the tinfoil hat on, okay? I personally feel like the California Democratic Party has gotten either, or the people leading it, or what, I don't know. I don't want to blame anyone individually because I don't know. I personally think I can work with any person. I can work with any reasonable human being. But maybe I haven't been enlightened here, but it seems stupid to me that you wouldn't have a backup strategy. And the only reason I can picture for not having a backup strategy is I wonder if the California Democratic Party believes that if Gavin Newsom loses and he gets kicked out, and they're branding this as a Republican recall, and a Republican gets in, that they know the Democratic Party has 72 to 75% power in the legislature. The legislature will just run the state for the next year, sandbag a Republican governor for the entire next year, and then when 2022 rolls around, basically rally and elect or try to elect the Democratic governor again under the guise of, see, look, we gave you a Republican for a year, they got nothing done, everything got worse, nothing they promised they were able to get done, they suck, screw them, now we're elect a Democrat again. And it's almost kind of like, in my opinion, like gambling with Californians' lives to sabotage California for a year to try to hold on to power at any and all means necessary. It's really bizarre, it's odd. But it's not just that. So not only is the governor ignoring my $1 million challenge, which is insane, because you would think in a reasonable democracy, people would be able to challenge each other, but apparently not. Excuse me. So not only is the governor doing that, not only is the Democratic Party basically trying to self-destruct, which is insane. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm missing something here. But the governor is also announcing that he's doing Stop the Recall rallies, but he won't tell anyone where those rallies are because he's afraid of protesters. So it's like, wait a minute. So you're what, gonna like last minute? Hey, in 30 minutes, we're gonna rally over here. Come rush over with your cameras and let's try to get a rally over before the public comes. Like what? What kind of democratic movement is this? It's a disaster. Not only that, but the governor won't attend any debates or anything. Won't even acknowledge the fact that he's basically getting beat up by the public. I mean, with the exception of in a SAC B interview. This was a good one. We should actually pull this one up. In a SAC B interview, golly, Governor Newsom went in front of the Sacramento Bee editorial board, and he freaked out about people essentially freaking out over him, and his sort of response to this recall election, and he's pretty defiant about the whole thing even happening and existing. It's almost like he can't believe that people would want him gone. So let's take a brief little listen here for a moment. Let's listen in.
Governor, homelessness is getting worse in California and not better. You've established commissions and millions have been committed to the problem, and yet it gets worse. Where is it breaking down? What needs to be done that isn't being done? And given that many of those on the streets have been previously incarcerated and struggle with mental health and substance abuse challenges, are they now beyond our help?
Yeah.
But we also got 42,000 people off the streets last year. We did it through a novel program, first in the nation, called Project Roomkey.
It's worth noting that in Project Roomkey, 42,000 people got off the streets for periods of time, but they didn't get transitioned into permanent housing. These are just people who were serviced at one point by the program. They're not still in the program or permanently housed. And Project Roomkey was a disaster because people became more suicidal and depressed because they were under basically lockdown-style rules. But we won't mention that. Go ahead and keep going with your rant, Mr. Newsom. Here, I found the exact part where the actual clip is, so we're just going to jump right into it. Here we go. Look at this.
Damn nice if our homegrown teams start focusing on what's right. Everybody outside this state is bitching about this state.
Governor, California has the nation's highest housing costs, highest gasoline prices, and highest utilities. Wage growth has been spectacular in the Silicon Valley, but not so much for areas along the coast and in some inland areas. In a very real sense, the California dream is more like a mirage for people grinding it out day after day. How do you make the case that you, as governor, can deliver the California dream to all Californians?
Well, let's talk about what we also are number one in, Stephanie. And guys, forgive me, I know I'm a little pointed today, but I've been taking a lot from a few folks for a lot of months. So it's
He's gonna blame the media now.
Too. But I do it with deep pride in this state. As a Californian, I'm a future ex-governor. Could happen in a few weeks, could happen in a few years. I love this damn state.
Yep.
We're #1 in job creation, tenfold the American economy. 559,000 jobs. Eat your heart out, Texas, Florida. We're #1 in the Bloomberg Index.
Hold on. First of all, we're almost the size of Texas and Florida combined. We better be #1 in job creation. That doesn't mean that we're still not. That doesn't mean that we're not cracking. That doesn't mean the rate of our growth isn't substantially slowing. It doesn't mean that businesses and corporations aren't leaving and this trend is beginning. We're at an inflection point. Just because we're at an inflection point downward doesn't mean you can't still point to the peak and go, see, we're still up. Well, no, duh. We have a population of almost 40 million people. Oh, that's so funny. Look. The first comment is the ship is sinking. That's why we started the movement, stopthebullship.com. And it's literally a sinking ship. Oh, that's too funny. But yeah, look, California's got some major issues. And what I wanted to also say, what's really frustrating, because sometimes people say this, they're like, hey, Kevin, how come in your video, like we see that you're interviewed by Fox, but you're not interviewed by, maybe like CNN or some of the left-leaning organizations. Watch this, okay? You want to see this? Here's KQED. I did a bias fact check, media fact check. KQED has a left-center bias. Okay, great. Here, this was published today, August 12th. Your guide to the Gavin Newsom recall. I type in Paffrath, literally not found. Like, this is a left-leaning organization, and my name is not found in the article, despite me being #1 in the polls against Gavin Newsom. Not mentioned in a left-leaning paper. Okay, I go over here to Fox 5, literally published, 2:39 p.m., 2.5 hours ago, August 12th. And you've got me mentioned in this piece 5 times. 5 mentions in this. And it's Fox. So, and they even link to another interview. They reference parts of my page and stuff. So I don't know, like either the right-leaning media is just doing much more research or due diligence on this recall campaign, or there's something going on between the Democratic Party and the left-leaning media. I don't know. I never wanted to be Mr. Tinfoil Hat and like, the game's corrupt or it's rigged. I don't want to be that person because I don't want to believe that. It just felt pretty dang rough. I mean, even from when we faced, left-leaning judges to get our nickname on the ballot. So a sumo wrestler can get their stage name on the ballot and other people can get their nicknames on the ballot, but we can't. And we happen to be running against the Democratic governor as a JFK-style Democrat. And I know some people hear that, and they're like, oh my gosh, you picked a party. It's like, yeah, I had to pick a party. That's how politics works. I know independent and stuff is always an option, but let's be real. You got to pick a party. And the fact is, I have been a registered Democrat since I've been 18, so it is what it is. But I think y'all know me. I'm like 51-49. I'm so far down the middle. We could probably get into the decimal points in terms of how in the middle I am. But I'll always give it to you straight, So anyway, look, I want to shout out all those of you who have been so supportive, by the way, using the Meet Kevin app and doing the Meet Kevin challenge. I'm looking forward to our massive rewards that we've got coming out, including your flight on a private jet. Remember, all you have to do to join that campaign is you download the Meet Kevin app in your app store, Apple or Android app store. Go to the bottom, it says challenge. And then anytime you share something from me on social media, just take a screenshot of it, click the little upload proof button, either take photo or share from screenshot from library, upload it in there, you get 10 points, you get a max of 50 points a day. And then there'll be a random draw weighted by how many contributions you've done. So you could share my YouTube videos, you could share my tweets, retweet stuff, do your own stuff, whatever you want to do. And then obviously the winners will have their photos validated. So look forward to seeing you. Anyway, I just wanted to give you an update on all this. Obviously, right now it feels great that we're leading the polls, but I think it's really because we're getting a lot of support from folks who are actually looking for, wait, is there a real option, like a real neutral option that we could pick that could actually bring the state back together? And I believe that's me. And if you believe in that vision as well, we need your help. Whether it's sharing on social or getting folks that to vote for us, or hey, if you want, throw a little bit of money into the thank you, Kevin, for fighting the good fight pot. over at meetkevin.com/donator. Go to stopthebullship.com. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching this video. I feel like I owed y'all this update, and thank you. I hope to feel better very soon, because I want to start doing some traveling again this weekend, and then hopefully I can meet you all out in the public. Thanks, folks. We'll see ya. Bye.